Hello, everyone. Hi, MLT. Let me introduce quickly myself. I'm Yuvraj. I'm the co-founder of MLT, and right now I'm leading the MLT AGI lab. So, just to give a background, my background comes from engineering. I was an application engineer as a full stack engineer, front end, back end, and then iOS applications. And then it was the first time when I met Susanna. We were in the Junction Hackathon, Junction Tokyo Hackathon, where it was based on like hardware, and we had to develop some kind of like model to propose. And so at the time, I was working on basically a very simple Arduino based solution, like a Arduino based robotic arm. And that was the that was a analog solution, like a very basic solution. And then that sparked some curiosity in me about to learn machine learning. And that was the start where we started together and started doing machine learning study sessions, just two of us. And then after that, more and more people saw and joined together to learn. So this was just a background. And then my interest always remained in the edge or the hardware related stuff on Arduino or Raspberry side. So it was always interesting to see how machine learning and electronics, or how machine learning and these devices could be combined together to do some interesting stuff. Um so right now, for my current thing, I work as a machine learning team manager for my existing job. Uh, and it's like more like to develop machine learning prototypes. And provide these prototypes to business side. That is what I do in my daily job. So talking about after that, talking about the Edge AI lab, I would like to share some like I think Alicia helped to Alicia also mentioned about how this Edge AI lab came into place, right? It was all in 2019 when we went to Chiba. It was a trip to Chiba to a greenhouse. For this thing, there was a small startup community, hacker farm, uh, comprising of engineers and machine learning researchers and engineers, and they are working on a small greenhouse where they are trying to adopt technologies on agri-tech or technologies on their greenhouse. They have a small farm there, and they were like looking for different kind of options which they could implement on automating the greenhouse. So it was like a collaboration kind of activity between them, and we had a small team of researchers and engineers going from MLT side. We traveled all over there, and then we discussed with them what kind of uh, problems are farmers facing, or what kind of issues they are having in greenhouse, and then trying to do some brainstorming. I think Anugraha and other team also, they submitted, like they come up with a solution, and then they also submitted a paper on this in NeurIPS. So that was where we thought like there are a lot of interest in the researchers and engineers to work on hardware. And how do we solve those things? How do we provide this kind of hardware or environment where we can easily experiment a lot of hardware without any obstacles? So with that idea, I think we first thought of having this Edge AI lab in 2020 in February. This was the first activity where we wanted to create an environment only for working on hardware freely. So this was in collaboration with Robot Club, and Robot Club provided all the hardware stuff like Arduino, Raspberry Pi, Jetson Nano, and all other electric components. And it was a kind of like workshop session for about like 3 to 4 hours on a Saturday afternoon. So everyone is like free on Saturdays, had the lunch and came to the workshop. The aim of that this session was to form teams, work on whatever you like. There was no specific no specific deadlines or goals like that. So it was just like, if you are free, you have whiteboard, you think of some idea, you have the hardware ready, so hardware already present, so you can just start tinkering around. So that was the same of this session. and we had a good response on that. It was yeah. So the outcome of this session, I have a video about it. I would like to share. Let's look at that. So we had around five prototypes built in just 3 or 4 hours, and that was quite surprising to see. Like people coming together and just within so small time, these kind of like ideas were developed. So here you see Naveen developed this object recognition using MobileNet SSD on Google Coral. Then we have the Jetson Nano, on which one team tried to run the object detection. There was also pose estimation, which was developed by one team on Jetson Nano. Uh, then another interesting prototype was a Morse code generator, where I think Elizabeth's team used Arduino to convert text to Morse code initially. And then there was another team which was trying to do voice recognition. So they kind of like combined these two projects together. So you have a voice to Morse code detector. So if you say something like hello, the Arduino converts it into Morse code and then sends it as a bits and dashes on the LED. So those were like quick projects which anyone could come up in 3 or 4 hours, and that gave more motivation for us to kind of have these kind of like physical workshops or hardware sessions for the year. So that was the plan, but as you know, I think we had okay. So we had these plans to conduct more physical sessions, more hardware sessions, but unfortunately, due to COVID, we had to suspend our plan of having these physical sessions. So for that, we were like in a quite silent period for some time. We were thinking how to organize these sessions since we cannot have physical things. But then we found online edge competitions, which were organized by Signate, and we thought like we were just looking for some competitions which were related to edge, and this was the competition which was quite interesting for us. It was organized by Signate. Signate is a company which organizes a lot of like competitions online, and it was sponsored by METI and NEDO. METI is like Ministry of Economic Trade and Industry, and NEDO is in Japan. NEDO, New Energy Industrial Technology and Development Organization. So these are like government organizations sponsoring this contest. The aim was to track a car and a pedestrian inside an image, and this image data is taken from a vehicle's front camera. So we formed a team of 5 members within the community: Alisher, Ven, Katosan, Naveen, and me. We split our team into members working on software, members working on hardware, and then even for the computer vision part, we split it as like some people focusing on data analysis, some people focusing on EDA part, some people one person working on the tracking algorithm, one person working for the object detection part. So our result, we worked for almost like 2 months on this continuously. And you see, this is like the GIF of the output of the model, where we track those objects and cars and pedestrians, and we submit those things. So the results of this was we got a third rank in the Signate competition, and it was quite motivating for us because like before the announcement of results, we didn't expect we would be have coming in the top three, because we were quite behind the rank. And I think the model was trained in such a way like it adjusted to any type of data. So that was a quite nice part for us. This is our award which they sent us, the Edge AI Contest Award, and then you have the MLT logo, the MLT written on the award from the METI and NEDO. So I really like to thank the entire team for helping on this project. So moving ahead, after the competition, like once we finished the competition, it was just a submission part, right? So it was just an online competition. So we thought like, why don't we since we are working as an Edge AI lab, right? Like we don't just submit the competition online. Why don't we do some kind of like physical deployment? So we thought of deploying this object detection model on bicycle, uh, on Jetson Nano. So here Ben helped us to 3D print the Jetson Nano case. So here is this 3D printed Jetson Nano case with the MLT logo, cute MLT logo on that. And then we used Navin's bicycle for our experiment. And then we went to field testing on Tamagawa River. It was a Corona period, so we had to follow the social distancing norms. But yeah, it was just 5 people, so I think it was fine. So this is like the quick video of field testing. Ben is having his computer tracking the load on Raspberry Pi, and then the Raspberry Pi, tracking the load on Jetson Nano. Jetson Nano is mounted in the basket. This is Navin's cycle, and this is the mount on the basket. We use like some wires and a small, like, I mean, workarounds to fix this particular set on the bicycle. So the learning for us was participating in the competition was great, but apart from that, like actually deploying it on the real bicycle was much more difficult, because we had to face not just software engineering challenges, but also like physical challenges. Like you had the mechanical problem, vibration problem, you have the a lot of other sorts of problems while actually deploying on bicycle, how to fit it properly, how to take care of all the noises. So those were the quite good learning things for us. And that was all. I think around August, September, we finished that part. And then after that part, we had one more competition coming. So once we finished that physical deployment, there was another competition hosted by same Cynet team, but this time it was more on FPGAs, and this was something which we had zero knowledge about FPGA before, but we had a lot of interest. And I think for this particular part, I would like to ask Naveen to introduce himself and share share the topics around FPGA and his experience about working in this competition. Naveen, can you please take over?
Yeah, thank you, Raj, and hello everyone. I am Naveen, and let me introduce myself. So I am a senior technical scientist working at RIKEN, and RIKEN is a research organization here in Japan. It's one of the largest research organization. And in my daytime job, I basically do the mostly genomic sequence analysis, like for the biological data and biomedical data sets. But I also have this in my spare time. I usually spend my time with this edge thing. And then uh, in early 2018, actually, I joined one of the meetup uh, for the MLT, one of the session. I don't remember exactly what was that, but since then I have a keen interest in the machine learning, and I always try to push all any kind of model to the edge devices. So that is my hobby now. So I have been doing that. So this, we are talking about one of the competition we had with this Signet. So Signet is a just like a Kaggle in Japan, right? So they have a data science competitions. So we participated in one of the data science competition, like the AGI contest 2, and we won the third rank. And this is the different competition. So the basically we had to actually implement the things on the hardware. And this is not just like you have to run your model on an accelerator like Coral, Google Coral, or any pre-made ASIC, application specific accelerator. So here problem was you have to design the accelerator kind of using the available intellectual property. So intellectual property or IP is a kind of a pre-built design thing for the FPGA. And FPGA is basically a field programmable gate array. So you can actually program your computer yourself. So basically, when you do the software programming, you write some C or Python or something. But when you program FPGA, then you have to use a lot of resource and suite to program the machine actually and design your own accelerator. So the machine learning model will run on that accelerator. So that was the competition. So the problem statement for this competition is like we have to actually develop an algorithm for the it's a kind of the segmentation problem. So they have given us the videos from, I guess, Shibuya in Japan to Tokyo Station. So they had the footage of videos. So we had to use that for the training purpose, and then we have to segment the pixel. But we have to run everything on the edge device, and they suggested to use we have to use one of the FPGA device, that is the Ultra 96 version 2. So we use that for that. So I'm going to describe a little bit about what we have done for that. So can we move to the next slide? Yeah. So the challenge was to do the image recognition using the FPGA for the self-driving purpose. So self-driving. So yeah. So we use this hardware, the Ultra 96 V2 board, so which is basically Xilinx. So Xilinx is actually basically one of the big provider of the FPGA board, and they have been doing this for for many years. And then they created the Whitis Unified Software Platform. So actually, the the criteria for this competition was we have to use this hardware and software to program the hardware, right? So so what is actually Whitis? So Whitis is, you can think in terms of like if you program the software in Python, but you program the hardware, so you need some kind of resource, some kind of toolings. So this is the tool chain. Using that, you can program the hardware, right? So you can change your hardware as many times you want using this kind of FPGA programming. So suppose we given you a CPU. So CPU is kind of hard code thing, like you cannot change the functionality of the CPU, right? But if you have a FPGA, then as many times you can change the design of the hardware. So you can make it as a like USB thing, like you can make a Wi-Fi if you have a really good expertise of the FPGA, or you can make a machine learning accelerator if you want. So the company Xilinx, they already have provided one of the IP, and they call that, so if you see this stack in the bottom of this stack in the middle thing, so we have a deep learning accelerator IP. So this deep learning accelerator IP, we have to actually design. So this is just kind of general purpose, but if you want to run CNN or if you want to run RNN, then actually you have to design, you have to choose what kind of operation you want for your model. So it also depends what kind of model actually you are using, and then design your FPGA to run your model on that. So for this competition, you can see this is the DPU core configuration list. So DPU is just like CPU. So CPU is the central processing unit, and DPU is the deep learning programming unit, one of the IP. And then we configured this DPU for running like we choose, like RAM users is low, and depth wide convolution for the CNN, running the CNN. So because the area, or you can say the resource on a FPGA is very limited. So you have to be very, I mean, it's tricky. You have to choose those things only which you are going to use and save the memory area so it can run actually. Otherwise, if you choose everything, then it will not run. So we design in such a way that we can run one of the segmentation model which we choose. Mostly, I think it was the CNN things. So we ran on this FPGA thing. Please, next slide. Yeah. So what we tried actually, so we actually use many combination of models. So actually challenge was you have to run the model with the high accuracy, like you have to achieve the 0.6 IOU, like intersection over union for the segmentation. And also you have to achieve the highest speed. So that was the challenge. So trade-off was like if you improve the accuracy with the bigger model, then the speed gets slower. If you choose high, like very light model, you get very good speed. but again, you have a like accuracy is decreases. So that was, you have to find some kind of sweet spot in between. So you can have a very good accuracy and very good, speed. So we tried the combination of UNet and FPN model as a like front end, and for the back end, for the backbones, we tried with the different kind of ResNet with the 18, 34, and 50 backbone, DenseNet, Inception, and the MobileNet. So we faced actually many challenges in deploying on the target edge devices, because not every model operation is supported on the target devices DPU. So then either you have the choice, design your own operation. That was really tricky and needs a lot of expertise. So we choose, since there was a limited time, then we choose those model which can be deployed easily on this FPGA thing. And then we tried different combination of the, like we tried the UNet with the ResNet 18, for example, or FPN with the ResNet 34. So we tried a lot of combination, trained the model. So Dimitris helped us in training all the model in the cloud. And then I deployed everything on this FPGA board. And we finally, for the final submission, we choose FPN front end with the ResNet 18. So ResNet 18 is actually really good to deploy on, but we could not get the IU more than 0.5. So that was the kind of bottlenecks, because if you move the IU higher than this, then the speed was really bad. And this is the average time per frame. So each frame pre-processing time and output time. So for the pre-processing time, actually this run on the CPU side, and the output time is just we were writing on the SD card of the S device. We were not outputting any, monitor. We can do that, like stream on the monitor on some web page. And the really good thing was the inferencing time. So we could achieve the inferencing time of each frame is around 0.09 second. That was really good on this such kind of small device. So you can see I am running one of the live demo. So this demo is actually live because I am streaming one of the video from the Shibuya crossing. So Shibuya crossing is a very busy, is the heart of the like town in the Tokyo, and they are very busy always, a lot of traffic. So they have IP cameras installed there. So you can actually access their cameras 24 hours, 24 by 7 through the YouTube streaming. So what I did, so I converted that YouTube in streaming and routed to this edge device. So captured in real time. And then I use this model running on the edge device and do the real time segmentation using this board. And you must be wondering why I have mounted this edge device on this fan, because when it runs at the full capacity, it's become so hot. If you touch it, you will burn your finger. So I had no mountable fan or other things like we have in Raspberry Pi. So I mounted this on the big fan, and then I did all kind of uh, demonstration things. So what was the learning for this competition? Actually, we could not made this time for the ranking because our IU was below 0.6. That was the criteria for qualifying this competition. But we achieved the great speed. That was satisfying. But still, we had a lot of learning. And then I want to share like what we did. What we can have done to make this better, which we realized later. So the learning point was the setting of the development environment, which takes a lot of time and resources. So you need a very good Linux machine with at least like 32 GB RAM to install just the software to writing the FPGA thing. So you need a very good desktop or laptop, and then you need around like 1 TB of the storage to install all the things and work on that. So the learning was start early because we struggled with the environment like at least 2 weeks, like installation, then something worked, something did not work, then fix that. So that was kind of like very hectic and very, troublesome. Then second learning was fine tuning the model. So the workflow of this model is actually you create this model in cloud or in on your desktop using GPU, you train it. But finally, you have to move the trained model to the FPGA part, that is the DPU thing. So you have to actually compile the model, trained in Keras or maybe Caffe. And then, so before compilation, the model for the target device, you have to actually quantize the model. So quantization means like you have a float 32-bit model, which you built on your GPU, right? But that cannot run directly on this edge device. So you have to quantize the model. So quantization is the process like you make the 32-bit model to 8-bit integer model. So this way you reduce the size almost 1/4 because 32 to 8-bit, right? And accuracy actually is not much, reduced in this process. So this is really good. So on edge device, you have a really limited resource. So you have to do the quantization, and then you have to do the compilation to flash the model into the DPU. So the model runs on the DPU directly, not on the CPU. And CPU, you have all the coding, which you, do for the posting the or transferring the data images to the DPU to for the inferencing thing. So fine tuning during the model quantization process actually increases the accuracy, which we discovered later. And then also I tried few of the Caffe models actually on this DPU, which run actually really good rather than using the Keras model. So reason was actually Caffe model is actually runs really good with the C code, because I think they have inherently, they are using C coding, and Python also have some kind of lag while running inferencing. So Caffe model actually worked really good. And for the inferencing time, actually, we did also augmentation, image augmentation, because there were many pictures, many images framed in the video that has the dark areas, like the car is going into the tunnel or maybe the underpass in the Tokyo area. So those images were actually dark. So if you use the gamma correction and some similar kind of image augmentation during the inferencing, then we achieve a greater accuracy. And then we can also work on the CPU to DPU interconnect customization tuning. So actually CPU is just like we have like in a Raspberry Pi, you have a CPU, you run your model on CPU, and you have an accelerator, right? Like Coral Edge. So you connect your Coral Edge device to the using USB to this Raspberry Pi, and you run on the edge. But in this Avnet Ultra 96 board, everything is on the hardware. So there is two chips. One chip is for CPU and another is for the FPGA, and they have an interconnect. So this interconnect is really fast because they are on the same PCB, same hardware thing, but still they have some kind of tuning and customization. So if we do that, then you have very really fast communication between these CPU and DPU. So that improve the reduce the communication timing and improve the throughput. Also, DPU can process more than one frame actually. So that we realized, and then so we realized that Ultra 96 V2 development board DPU can actually process 3 frames together on the DPU. So what we did, we used the multi-threaded programming and started sending the 3 frame at a time using the queuing system to the DPU and achieved very higher throughput. So that was the learning that can improve the overall throughput or accuracy and the speed up. Next slide, please. So that was the competition thing which is done. And this is actually in my spare time, actually, I do a lot of competition and also making something like whenever I see some problem for machine learning, I try to use that in the edge AI things and try to run that on some kind of uh, small microcontroller or whatever, like Raspberry Pi or even some microcontroller. So I always submit or I always participate in some competition, edge AI competition on the Hackster.io. And there you can, if you are interested, then please go to this link for my profile or use the QR code, and you can see all of the useful like coding and how I did to, deploy a deep learning model into the very small microcontroller also. Like we have done, like if you see the first of the image, so here actually I did the handwriting recognition. So using the small accelerometer mounted on a pen and then train the pen. So I write some digit many times, and then I push that into the very small microcontroller that is running on like 120 kV RAM just, and that recognize your handwriting. So that is a cool project I have done. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Naveen. Yeah, I really love your projects here, what you mentioned here, and it's really nice. Like I also like this elephant activity deep learning model. It was like a totally different idea, but yeah.
Yeah, actually, there was one of the project. So the smart parks is a wildlife kind of thing. So they are actually saving the elephant in Africa and India. So they are making a smart collar, and they wanted the developer to develop one of the machine learning model which could run on small microcontroller, and that could run on a battery. Which, so they wanted to operate that battery operated machine learning thing
Mm,
for at least 8 to 10 years. So that was the problem. Like you have to make a model which can be run on the low power microcontroller for a long time.
mm. Wow. Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that was what we like. I mean, did in 2020. I know, like we participated in two competitions. It was like 1 year, but just two competitions and one workshop. We wanted to do more, but like I mean, we are still like I mean, this year we are thinking like we should do more, participate in more competitions. That was what we learned from last year, because competitions are also one thing which helps us to actually apply what we learn and try to get some output, try to create some product, and not just participating in competition, but also converting that competition output into some kind of like product. That is what we are trying to see how we can get in 2021 with this. So how you could do, like if anyone is also interested in any of the edge contest, if you are interested, if you find some good competition related to hardware, you can always post it in a Slack, and then we will have you always have a lot of people there commenting on, and it gets visible. And then if you think you can also find make a team to participate in that contest, it can be possible. So it's not necessary we initiate a competition contest participation from ourselves. If you want to initiate by yourself, it is also fine. Then second thing which we want to do in 2021 is like something similar like today. What whenever we participate in any competition or learn something new, we want to share it to the community, AGI lab community, so that people, researchers and engineers can quickly get onboarded on this. I understand like working with hardware and working with edge is a bit difficult. There is a quite huge barrier if you come from computer science or machine learning background. Into hardware. So we want to reduce that barrier as low as possible. So we want to do this kind of like activity in 2021. And also we are planning some AGI lab workshops. So related to TinyML or other devices, benchmarking other devices. So please stay tuned. We will announce this when we come up with a good plan. Also, please join AGI Lab on MLT Slack channel. There you can get a lot of information around it.